Today on UMTV News, President Biden on a surprise visit to Ukraine this week. We will tell you why he was there and what U.S. lawmakers are saying.
Plus, Brittany Griner is making a comeback. We'll tell you all about her plans in the WNBA.
And later on, we will introduce you to one man who spent over 30 years collecting Black historical artifacts.
These stories and a whole lot more on today's show.
And it all starts right now.
Hello and welcome to UMTV News. I'm Wyatt Kopelman.
And I'm Brandy Troop. Thanks so much for joining us. President Joe Biden is now in Poland following a surprise trip to Ukraine earlier this week. It was Biden's first time in the country since the start of the Russian invasion nearly a year ago. But not everyone is happy with this covert mission, including some U.S. lawmakers. President Joe Biden met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Kyiv Monday, saying the U.S. will stand with the country as it battles against Russian forces.
Freedom is priceless. It's worth fighting for as long as it takes, and that's how long we're going to be with you, Mr. President.
Biden announced more aid to Ukraine, including $500 million worth of new assistance, including military equipment and ammunition.
I won't get ahead of future announcements. You'll see us announce some more here very, very shortly, and that'll continue well into the coming weeks and months.
Biden also said new sanctions will be imposed on Moscow later this week.
These conversations brings us closer to the victory, and we hope that this year, the 2023, will become a year of victory.
Moscow is reportedly upset with a comment Vice President Kamala Harris recently made, accusing Russia of committing crimes against humanity during its war in Ukraine. The Kremlin has not publicly commented on Biden's trip, but former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev accused the U.S. of warmongering support for Ukraine. Meanwhile, some House Republicans are also blasting Biden's trip to Ukraine, including Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, who tweeted it is, quote, incredibly insulting that Americans pay for Ukraine's government and war. U.S. officials say they expect Russia is preparing for a spring offensive and hope the boost of weapons from the U.S. will help Ukraine prevail and be able to work toward ending the war.
Instead of returning back to classes on Monday, more than 1,000 Michigan State University students traveled to the state capitol to demand gun reform. This comes after the mass shooting at MSU's campus last week, where a gunman killed 3 students and critically injured 5 others. As the MSU community starts to heal from the violence, school faculty and students are returning to campus.
It feels really fresh. Earlier, a colleague of mine shut a door fast, and a facilities person thought it was another kind of sound and started hysterically crying.
Therapy dogs were offered to students, faculty, and staff to help them process the shooting.
Brittany Griner is back doing what she loves after being detained in Russia for 10 months. Griner is set to make her WNBA comeback after signing a 1-year deal with the Phoenix Suns today. The team announced the deal, and in a statement, Phoenix Mercury General Manager Monica Wright-Rogers says that Griner is, quote, special, and it will support her on and off the court. Griner will be back on the court for the Mercury season opener in May.
It's February, also known as Black History Month, and UM has been celebrating the Black experience with numerous events. Our reporter Maya Broadwater went to a special event hosted by the Office of Academic Achievement. Maya, what can you tell us?
Thanks, Wyatt. I can tell you guys this event was unlike any other hosted this month. The University of Miami loves to host a variety of events throughout the month of February to celebrate Black history. So I decided to go to one of those events, a Black History Museum that has finally traveled back to campus since its last visit in 2018. Museums tell stories that are larger than life, and the Black History Mobile Museum is no exception. The museum was invited to UM to kick off the start of Black History Month. Founded by Dr. Khalid El-Hakim, the award-winning collection takes viewers on a journey through the transatlantic slave trade to modern-day Black liberation, a journey that many people experience all over the United States.
Just the responses that I get from people who walk through the museum, the stories that are being told, the idea that an artifact can bring stories out of people that wouldn't otherwise be shared is one of the reasons that motivates me to share this all across the country.
Dr. El Hakim has spent 30 years probing through flea markets, auctions, and antique shops to seek out hidden relics, and today he holds a stockpile of over 10,000 items that hold stories from 400 years of Black history. And this is not the first time the Mobile Museum has come to the University of Miami's campus. In 2018, the Director of Programs of Academic Excellence at UM saw the exhibit at a conference in New Orleans and was so moved that he brought it to campus that year.
I know our campus prides itself on diversity and diverse initiatives. So I felt like the audience existed here. And beyond that particular group, this also felt like content that everybody should see and experience in some way.
After a long hiatus due to the pandemic, the museum returned to UM this month. Shackles from the transatlantic slave trade and documents signed by some Black prominent leaders. These are just some of the artifacts that students can expect to see from the Black History Mobile Museum. And some are saying that just their presence is making a fundamental impact on their knowledge and appreciation for African American history.
I think it's so important, especially during Black History Month. It's one thing to know your history, but to see your history and evoking the emotions, seeing this stuff in person, just really bringing on a different meaning for me.
This year's exhibit was focused on the 50-year milestone for hip-hop, and some of the material on display represented hip-hop's impacts on some American social movements.
It's crazy to think about hip-hop being 50. I think it speaks to its legacy and its impact on society in a lot of ways.
Dr. El Hakim says if there's one thing he wants students to take away from the exhibit, it's the hunger to learn more about Black history.
It's very important that people understand the value of these primary source material, these items, so that we make sure that Black history is not erased, and we make sure that Black history is something that's celebrated and something that transforms the way that we view education in general.
Program coordinators at the Office of Academic Excellence say they hope to bring the Mobile Museum back to campus as often as possible, maybe even every other year. If you happen to miss the Black History Mobile Museum or you just want to learn more about Black history, I recommend watching the PBS special Fight the Power: How Hip Hop Changed the World, which played at the event. Reporting live for UMTV, I'm Maya Broadwater.
Thank you, Maya. We're going to take a short break.
But don't go anywhere, because we'll be right back with more.
Expect when you're expecting.
Like here.
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
An alligator has killed an 85-year-old woman in a retirement community near Fort Pierce, Florida, forcing road closures in the afternoon on Monday in the area. According to St. Lucie officials, the unidentified victim was walking her dog in Spanish Lakes Fairway near Fort Pierce when the gator attacked her.
Involving a resident and an alligator. FWC is in charge of the investigation. However, we assisted with our helicopter and manpower, and the alligator, which was close to 11 foot long, was trapped by an FWC trapper, and we assisted.
Officials say alligator attacks are rare in Florida despite an estimation of 1.3 million alligators living in the state of Florida.
On Thursday night, 2 cars were involved in a crash near the University of Miami's residences at University Village, leaving 2 pedestrians hospitalized. One of the drivers is Miami Hurricanes football player Donald Chaney Jr. His orange Dodge Challenger collided with another car on Santa Mauro Drive. 2 UM students who were standing on the curb got stuck in between the colliding vehicles and were mostly unresponsive until the paramedics arrived. Both pedestrians were taken to the hospital. One of them has a broken spine, but is expected to be okay.
A new series of city buses has taken the streets of Miami-Dade County, causing more progress in the county's agenda of going green. Since the start of February, Miami-Dade County has released new battery-powered buses for service. The 40-foot buses made by electric vehicle manufacturer Proterra now make up a nearly 10% of the county city's bus fleet. The county is expected to release 75 buses into service by the end of 2023. As the Department of Florida Environmental Protection gave the county nearly $20 million in funding in September.
They fast, swift, suitable for the passengers, and I can say that just it's good to keep everything up to date with, Miami-Dade Transit and Miami-Dade County. It's more up to date. Nobody wants to drive the regular buses or cars, anything. It's more exciting and it's.
The county now expects more of the Proterra ZX5 buses to serve Miami-Dade County, while nearly 75% of buses still run on natural compressed gas.
The University of Miami provides many opportunities to students, from academics to clubs to sports. But how many students actually take advantage of everything that's offered to them? That's right, there are so many opportunities here on campus.
That's right, Brandy. There are so many opportunities here on campus, and I got to speak to one senior at the University of Miami who took the most opportunities here at the U.
The University of Miami is filled with students who excel in their studies, but not all students come to UM knowing if their major is something they want to pursue. One senior at the University of Miami had a different issue. She couldn't choose just one.
I've always loved school. I never faked being sick or anything like that. I just love school so much, and I'm such a nerd for it, I know.
Katarina started her freshman year as a double major in political science and Spanish with 2 minors in theater and classics, and her work ethic does not go unnoticed.
Katarina is definitely an achiever, a go-getter. If you give her any task, she'll complete it, and she'll do a 15 out of 10 job, no matter what it is. She even goes above and beyond to do more.
Katarina came to UM with almost 60 credits, which would have allowed her to graduate early. But her love of learning and the fact her high school experience got cut short motivated her to stay all 4 years.
For Katarina to stay all 4 years, she had to make some changes. With all the extra space in her schedule, she decided to pursue a quintuple major. Yep, that's 5 majors: political science, Spanish, philosophy, classics, and theater. But despite their curriculum differences, Katarina says they all work together.
It's like one day we talked about the same thing in my theater class that we talked about in my political science class, and I was like, how is that possible? But it was, because it's just, I like people and I like learning about people and society and the way things function, and I feel like that's what's at the core of all of them.
It is no surprise to those who know her, and they say if anyone can handle it, it's Katarina.
I was shocked. I was like, I didn't know you could have more than 2 majors in college. I'm like, this is a UM thing, but now that I've gotten to know her, I'm like, okay, I can see why you have 5, because you can handle it, and I'm surprised you don't have more than 5, to be honest.
But this is no small feat. In the College of Arts and Sciences, most students have 2 majors and very few have 3, but 5 majors even surprised the assistant dean.
I have not seen 5. I definitely have seen students who are able to stack quite a few, maybe 3, but 5 is new for me. I think it's really exciting. I think I love that students are passionate about learning. It's part of the college's mission to be interdisciplinary, right? So we want students who put together interesting combinations.
And that is exactly what Katarina did. She took advantage of what UM had to offer and will use all of her skills from her disciplines in her future endeavors.
Katarina is set to graduate in May with the Bachelor of Arts, and despite her extensive course load, she has a 3.92 GPA and is graduating with magna cum laude. She is now in the process of her law school application and plans to apply all that she's learned here at the U in her career. Reporting live for UMTV, I'm Stephanie Desroches.
Thanks, Stephanie. Stay with us. We have more after the break.
Right! Go! Bro, but you're not even gonna do anything! Yes, I was! Yes, no!
St. Patrick's Day is right around the corner, and you know what that means. It's time to shamrock and roll because McDonald's is bringing back its popular Lucky Favorite Shake. That's right, the Shamrock Shake is back at all participating McDonald's stores. So if you're feeling green, head over to your local McDonald's. If you want one, may the Lucky Charms be with you. The sweet treats will only be around while supplies last.
One Miami native has decided to give back through her personal passion. Our reporter Giselle Arciniega is here in the studio with the story. Giselle?
It was a great day to be at the art festival in Coconut Grove. This year, thousands show up to buy art, and in this 59th edition, children had their own space to enjoy and learn about art. The Coconut Grove Art Festival celebrated 59 years. This year, with a new art program, Young Collector Clubs. This program focused on cultivating the next generation of art collectors. Over 100 artists donated pieces to encourage kids to assist the festival.
It's a chance for children to go into the tent full of art, and this is art donated by our artists that are here, and they get to purchase actual art, and it doesn't cost more than $5 or $10. Son who went today to purchase something, and they were very excited at the idea. Mommy doesn't come along, no adults allowed, so it's just for the child to go in there and look at the different pieces of art, and it was everything from painting, sculpture, whatever, everything in there, and they get to pick out a piece and purchase it. The children involved in the actual, learning about art and wanting to own a piece.
The festival is filled with many talented artists, but one artist in particular truly understands the value beyond a price tag. Carla Bang is an emerging artist from Mexico, and it's her 5th year participating in the festival.
Once I moved to the States, because my husband is from Chicago, I discovered the art festival life, and it just became, my full-time job, and I love it, and it's my life. And so I create all year. I'm in the studio creating and traveling all over the country doing my art festivals.
When Carla was a child, she never felt supported when she was trying to do art. And this is why she decided to give back to kids this year.
Never pay attention to the class. You're just drawing, and what are you gonna do in your life if you're just creating things like that?
The Young Collector Club was truly the main attraction of the festival for kids and parents.
This festival is extremely important. We do it every year, my husband and I, because it's creative, it's outdoors, and especially this time, because of the children. She is an artist, she loves to create, and my grandson here, he loves photography, and he looks at details, and I knew they were going to enjoy it tremendously. And it's a beautiful way of sharing.
If I can influence a little bit to find something that is going to make them happy, that's a big thing.
The Cake Collector event was definitely a touching event for the community. Reporting for UMTV, I am Giselle Arciniega.
Thank you, Giselle. This Monday, a record-breaking number of manatees were released into the wild here in Florida. 12 manatees were sent back into the wild after being rehabilitated by a Florida nonprofit. Many of the manatees came to the organization after their mother died of starvation. With native seagrass levels declining, manatees have gone hungry along Florida shores. Florida officials are distributing lettuce across local waters to help keep them fed. The released manatees have been tagged with GPS systems so the rescuers can keep a close eye on them.
And finally, a safari park in Florida has welcomed an adorable baby chimpanzee. Meet Lily. She was born at the end of January at Lion Country Safari in West Palm Beach. Lily joins a family of 2 females and 3 males, including a 1-year-old Tonk. Lily's birth is rare and significant due to the declining numbers of chimpanzees in the wild and the low number of births in the population. Lion Country Safari is part of the association Zoos, Aquariums, Chimpanzee Species in the Survival Plan, and the Chimpanzee Saving Animals from Extinction program. Well, Brandy, I don't know about you, but I just adore those chimps. And
those were so cute.
And with St. Patrick's Day around the corner, as they say, it's never over until it's Clover,
Hey, I like that, Wyatt.
I know. And as someone who says that, I just have to think that in mind. So that's all the time we have for today for UMTV News. So long, we'll see you next week.